Benguet, the cool mountain world of the Cordillera, this province is home to Baguio City, the summer capital of the Philippines and the colorful fields of La Trinidad. Experience the blend of bustling city life, the splendor of the Panagbenga Flower Festival, and the silent majesty of Mount Pulag above the sea of clouds. Benguet offers you art at the BenCab Museum, adventures on old mining trails, and the sweetness of freshly picked strawberries. The air up here on the 2,928-meter high Mount Pulag is thin, clear, and bitingly cold. But the view is worth it. When the sea of clouds spreads out beneath you, an unreal white under the blue sky, you understand why the Ibaloi and Kalanguya consider this place sacred, the playground of the gods. The hike itself is a journey, from the damp, mossy semi-darkness of the cloud forest, where every breath smells of earth, out into the wide, windswept grassland with its tough dwarf bamboo. The proximity to Kabayan and the knowledge of the centuries-old mummies resting there add an additional, deeper dimension to the whole experience. Mount Pulag, a national park since 1987, is not an easy mountain. It's an experience that changes you and rewards you at night with an unbelievably close, starry sky. An unexpected burst of color in the middle of bustling La Trinidad. The slopes of StoBoSa, Stonehill, Botiu-Tiu, Sajap are not just colorful, they are a statement. Imagine the sun hitting this giant mosaic facade created from hundreds of houses nestled together. Initiated in 2016 to revitalize the community, you can feel the pride and energy of the residents here. It's loud, lively, children laughing, mopeds sputtering, and in the middle of it all, this wave of bright colors. Find a good vantage point, the stairs with the lettering are popular, and let this bold vision work its magic on you. It's a powerful example of how community and art can make hope visible. Bend down and take a deep breath. That sweet, unmistakable scent of ripe strawberries. In La Trinidad's farms, you can do more than just buy fruit. You can harvest it with your own hands. Feel the slightly rough leaves, the soft earth under your feet, and the satisfaction of picking a perfectly red berry. Be careful, your fingers will get sticky. This is the heart of the Philippines' strawberry capital, and you can taste the difference. The berries here are often smaller but intense in flavor. Be sure to try the warm tahoe with fresh strawberry syrup directly from the stand. It's an authentic piece of Benguet that you can experience and taste here. The wind often whistles a bit sharper here. From the Kennon Road viewpoint, you look out at a road that eats its way up the mountain like a tapeworm, a masterpiece and a scar on the landscape at the same time. You can almost imagine how arduous it must have been at the beginning of the 20th century to drive this first connection to Baguio through solid rock. The steep slopes on both sides constantly remind you of the power of nature and the danger of landslides that make this road so notorious. Pause, look at the tight curves below you and feel the respect for the engineers and workers who paved this way. Forget everything you think you know about flower farms. Here in Atok, at over 2,200 meters, you stand in the middle of the Northern Blossom Flower Farm in an almost unreal explosion of blossoms with panoramic views. The colors of the various seasonal flowers, from the almost sculptural cabbage roses to delicate matthiola, appear incredibly intense in the clear, cool mountain air, almost hyper-real. When the fog rises and the mountain peaks shine through while you stand between the fragrant rows, it's pure magic. It's cold up here, so dress warmly. A paradise for photographers and anyone who wants to be intoxicated by exuberant natural beauty. A landscape shaped as if by giants. The Mount Kalugong Eco Park is a small but fascinating place where you can climb around carefully and walk among bizarre limestone rocks. The wind has created hollows and shapes over eons that inspire the imagination. The Kalugong hat is just the most famous. It's a place for playful discoveries. But turn around. The view down into the bustling La Trinidad Valley is fantastic and offers you a moment of peace and overview. It's this mixture of natural quirkiness and wide views that makes the charm of this easily accessible park. Discover a unique chapter of Philippine history in Kabayan, the world-renowned Ibaloy mummies. These centuries-old mummified bodies are the result of a fascinating, complex preservation method through slow smoking, a practice perfected before the colonial era. They give you a rare and direct insight into the burial rites and life of the Ibaloy long before external influences reached the region. The burial sites where they rest, some in elaborate wooden coffins, are on the tentative list for UNESCO World Heritage status. A visit to these important cultural sites requires mindfulness and respect for the traditions and history of the local community. It's an impressive encounter with Benguet's past. A modern fantasy castle with ancient roots. The Igorot stone kingdom is almost surreal at first glance, a massive fortress made of layered stones nestled on a hillside. It's new, yes, but the construction technique is reminiscent of the centuries-old rice terraces and the resilience of the Igorot culture. Explore the winding paths, the towers and terraces. The sheer amount of moved stone is impressive. It feels like you're walking through a backdrop that is simultaneously a tribute to traditional craftsmanship and the myths of the Cordilleras, an unusual photogenic place that inspires you to marvel. Step into a world of discipline. Even at the gate of Fort del Pilar, you feel the aura of order and tradition that surrounds the Philippine Military Academy. The air seems crisper, the cadets move with an impressive precision. Here, not only is knowledge imparted, but character is forged. Observe the symmetrically arranged buildings, the meticulously maintained green spaces, the displayed relics of military history. If you're lucky enough to see a drill or parade, you'll witness a spectacle of synchronicity and dedication. It's a place that unequivocally embodies values like honor and service to the country. More than just walls with pictures, it's a total work of art. In the BenCab Museum, you feel the vision of national artist Benedicto Cabrera in every detail. Of course, his poignant works and the exquisite collection of Philippine art, from tribal art to modern, are captivating. But then your gaze falls through the huge windows onto the carefully designed garden, the pond, the fog that often drifts through the trees. The architecture itself is a tribute to the landscape. It's this seamless connection between inside and outside, between art and nature, that creates an incredibly inspiring, almost meditative tranquility. Take your time, let it sink in. The wind in your hair, endless hills before you. Mount Ulap is pure hiking bliss. The trail through the pine forests of Itugon repeatedly opens up to breathtaking grasslands that disappear like waves on the horizon. The feeling of vastness up here is exhilarating. Sure, Gungull Rock is the famous photo motif, a rocky outcrop that seems to jut out into nothingness. A little thrill. But the real experience is the hike itself. The constant up and down, the changing panoramas, the feeling of being part of this magnificent mountain landscape, the fresh mountain air you breathe. Bring water and sunscreen, the trail is often exposed. the green lung and social heart of Baguio. Burnham Park is where the city's life flows together. Rent a brightly colored swan paddle boat on the lake, watch families picnicking, hear the laughter of children on rented bicycles. Here you experience Baguio authentically. It's loud, lively, sometimes chaotic, but always full of charm. The park, planned by Daniel Burnham, is more than just lawns and trees. It's a place of memories for generations, a meeting point for young and old, a symbol of the relaxed coexistence in this city. Buy a sweet corn on the cob and just sit down. A journey through green worlds and cultures, the Baguio Botanical Garden is a peaceful retreat that invites you to marvel and discover, wander among majestic pine trees, discover the diversity of the local flora, and be surprised by the replicas of traditional huts of various indigenous peoples of the Philippines. Each area tells a different story of nature and of people. This garden is an oasis of tranquility in the middle of the city, a place to learn, to find beauty in the details, and to appreciate the cultural diversity of the country in a quiet, respectful way. A giant of concrete and steel that tames the power of water. Stand on the shore of the vast still reservoir or look at the massive concrete wall of the Ambuklao Dam. The sheer size of this hydroelectric power plant is overwhelming. You can almost feel the immense energy that is stored and controlled here. This structure from the 1950s was a pioneering project and tells of a time of optimism and belief in technology. The fact that it was put back into operation after severe earthquake damage speaks volumes about Filipino engineering and perseverance. It's a place that impressively juxtaposes the enormous power of nature and the ambitions of humankind. A labyrinth of garden dreams, Mount Costa is no ordinary park. It's the imaginative creation of one man, Colonel Costa, who has transformed his love of landscape architecture into 24 themed gardens. Wander from the minimalist Zen garden to a formal rose garden. Discover playful sculptures and surprising perspectives. Each garden has its own character, its own little world. It's simply fun to drift here, compare the different styles, and admire the creativity that is in every detail. Bring time. There is much to discover and many beautiful places for you to linger. A rush of colors, music, and pure joie de vivre. When it's Panagbenga in February, Baguio literally explodes. Experience giant floats covered all over with the most magnificent flowers, gliding through the streets like fantasy ships. Let yourself be carried away by the energy of the street dance groups, whose costumes and choreographies celebrate the rich culture of the Cordillera. This festival is Baguio's triumphant response to the 1990 earthquake, a celebration of new beginnings, beauty, and the incredible community spirit. Be prepared for crowds, but also for an atmosphere you will never forget. A village like a bridge between times. Tam-awan feels like a living open-air museum, but with a lot of soul. The old Ifugao and Kalinga houses have been faithfully rebuilt here. You can admire their construction and imagine what life was like in them. At the same time, you'll encounter modern Cordilleran art in the small galleries and feel the creative energy that fills this place. It's this fascinating mix of preserving the old and promoting the new that makes Tam-awan so special. A quiet place for you to stroll, look, and reflect on the rich culture of the Philippine mountain peoples. The smell of pine trees and horses. That's Wright Park. Here you can easily experience a piece of Baguio romance. Choose a horse, let one of the experienced pony boys often in this business for generations, lead you leisurely through the forest and enjoy the scenery. It's not wild riding, but a relaxed rocking in the saddle under tall trees. Especially on weekends, it's a colorful hustle and bustle here. It's a simple pleasure that has been part of Baguio for decades and always puts a smile on your face, no matter how old you are. Short climb, huge reward. Mount Yangbeo is the perfect after-work mountain for La Trinidad. The path up is straightforward, almost a walk, but at the top, a panorama awaits you that will make you pause. The entire valley lies at your feet, framed by the imposing mountains all around. The grassy slopes invite you to sit down. Pack a drink and enjoy the show, especially when the sun rises or sets and bathes the valley in warm light. It's a place that quickly gives you a feeling of vastness and freedom without having to exert yourself. Pink blossoms against a dramatic mountain panorama, an unexpected dream. Who would have thought that you could admire Japanese cherry blossoms, Sakura, in the Philippine Cordillera at over 2,000 meters? In Sakura Park, this little miracle is possible. When the sakura trees, a gift from Japan, bloom usually March-April, the sight of this delicate ephemeral beauty against the rugged mountain backdrop is simply magical. It's a small area, but the symbolism of friendship and the pure aesthetics make it a special destination for you. Find out about the blooming season beforehand. It's a short but rewarding spectacle. What appeals to you most in Benguet? The summit ascent of Mount Pulag, strawberry picking in La Trinidad, or perhaps a visit to the BenCab Museum? Write us in the comments which experiences entice you or which insider tips you have for the region. We are already very curious about your Benguet stories.